Hi Anthony, so just thank you very much for reaching out to us. I was building this today with my colleague, so I thought of making a small video for you and show you what we built because it's obviously very related to your requests. So as you can see, this is a structure that we built here with 4 test stands attached to it in a horizontal position. So each stands can measure thrust and torque. So we installed one motor and one ESC for each stand, and of course you can install a propper for each of them. We're not running any test with prop just for safety here. So this is pretty much what you were talking about, testing and controlling 4 stands horizontally to kind of mimic like a quadcopter like situation. So if we can come just a little bit closer, here you can see, so that's one stand. So that's basically the structure with the L bracket, the tubular beam, the force measurement unit just right there, the motor mount right there. And it comes with some electronics right there on the floor. There are 2 sync hubs, so one sync hub can control 1 or 2 stands. So right now we're controlling 4 stands, so we need 2 sync hubs, and we're also providing you with 1 electrical measurement unit for each of the stands. So they're here. So you can measure current and voltage for each of the stands. Today we're just going to run a simple test, and we're going to be using just 1 EMU just to measure the total current and voltage, just because we're powering the whole system with just 1 power supply. But of course you can use 4 of them because you're going to get 1 per powertrain per stand. So you can actually measure voltage and current for each stands. So that's pretty much what you get in the bundle. You're also getting 1 RPM probe per stand, so you can measure RPM, and 2 temperature probe per stand. So in this configuration, 8 temperature probes. So you can measure your ESC temperature and your motor internal coil temperature. So that's pretty much the setup that we built. With our software, so the offer, what we offer comes with our software, which you can download on our website. You can control up to 8 powertrains at a time. Here we're testing with 4, but you can control up to 8 powertrains. And of course, everything is controlled from our software. So this is our software. You can download it from our website. You can also download it and try with simulated board. So this is the setup tab, and in the hardware tab, you see this button just right there. You can simply click on it and it's going to connect simulated board. So you can basically simulate a test stand without having actually a real test stand. So it's really cool because you can basically try out the software before you buy it. So it's kind of cool. So in here on the top left corner, you can see all the hardware that is being detected once you connect everything together. So you can see that we detect 4 force measurement unit and 1 electrical measurement unit. If you were to use all the electrical measurement unit, you would detect 4 electrical measurement unit, but right now we're just using 1. So this is the hardware tab. This is where basically you can see that everything is well detected by the software. Then you have the safety limit tab. This is where you can set up safety limit on thrust, torque, voltage, current, RPM. So this is more like for safety aspects in your lab. Then there's the powertrain mapping tab. So this is kind of interesting, especially for you, since you want to test 4 powertrains. You have to create each powertrain and map them with their respective hardware. So for example, in the first powertrain, we have mapped each sensors accordingly, and you have to do so for each powertrain. And of course, you can add up to 8 powertrains because this is what the software supports. And then we can go in the manual control tab. So basically here we can manually control each of the ESCs that we have on our setup. So basically the FMU is sending a PWM signal to the ESC. So that's how we control the ESC. The stand supports multiple ESC protocols: D-shot, one-shot, multi-shot, and PWM right now. So right now you can manually control each ESC. You can name your test. For example, here you can see I have activated all 4 ESCs. I can simply play with the slider here, and you can see the first motor just over there running. And if I activate the second slider, third slider, and the last one, you can see all motors running together. Of course, without prop, but in your case, you're going to have some props, so you can measure your torque, thrust, and all your data. So that's basically the idea. Just gonna turn that off. There you go. All right, so that's the manual control tab. Then you can use the automatic control tab. So that's a very interesting one, because you can create automated tests, and you have the choice between step test, RAM test, or you can also use our Python API if you want to control the stand from a Python scripting interface. So for example, for a step test, you can import a CSV file of throttle values, right, with timestamps for each of your powertrain. So you could have like a CSV file with like 10,000 values, and you can basically import that into the software to run a flight replay. So that's one way of doing it. You can see a sequence preview of your test. Right now, we have numbers only for the first powertrain, but you could have numbers, throttle numbers for all the other powertrains, and you'd be seeing like a multiple drafts in the sequence preview. And you can run an automated test just by doing that. So you can import a file directly in the software, or you can write manually your own timestamp. And you can pretty much do the same thing with the RAM tests, except that the only add-on here is that you can set up a rate in microseconds per second, and it would basically do ramp phases like that. So it's another way of running tests. You can do acceleration and deceleration testing, which can be interesting in some cases. So every time you've run a test, you can save it, and there is a test tab where all your tests are saved. For example, I can just click on this one. You can see a pre-visualization of all your tests in here, graphs of each data per time, so throttle per time, voltage per time, etc. You can apply a noise filter if you want to smooth out your readings. And after, you can, of course, export your data in CSV right there. You can also see a pre-visualization of the data table that you're going to have in your CSV. So that's pretty much what we have. Also, another information, you have the choice between taking manual samples when testing, or you can also continuously record your data. Right now, we can record at 1000 Hertz. That's the maximum we can do. And if you go with the Pro version, you also receive a STM calibrated load cell for better accuracy. So that's pretty much what we have. I'll send you this video by email, and I hope you got all the information you needed. Thank you.